Today's video for Molha de Carne is in collaboration with some other YouTubers who are also going to be making some amazing Portuguese style dishes for the Comida Portuguesa collab. So check it all out. We are going to look at how to get this amazingly simple and flavorfully dense dish right now. Ingredients all linked below. Check it all out and start by heating up some olive oil. Now for the actual cooking vessel, I'm using my cast iron pan. Now I know this is not a cocotte, but it's gonna work just as good because that cast iron will hold heat really well to really develop those flavors. Now the oil is hot and we're gonna do what the French call mirepoix. So your onions, your carrots, and your garlic. We're gonna saute that until that starts to become fragrant, starts to soften a bit. Some salt in there will definitely help to cook it all up a bit quicker. And once you get there, add in your meat. Now for the meat here, I'm just using some stewing meat. You should probably get that very easily at your local grocery store. You could go for a better quality meat, but the magic in this dish is to cook it low and slow, and that's gonna make that meat so tender. Now you want to get color on each side of that meat, and you can season this with some salt and pepper as it happens. Now once you have that color, then make sure to add in your dried spices. That's something that I take from my Indian cooking, where you really want to cook your dried spices first to release the natural oils within those spices so your dish can be a bit more flavorful, and that's why we're trying to develop flavor. Now once those spices are roasted and it's nice and fragrant, add in your potatoes. And while traditionally it's not used in a Molha de Carne recipe, I love potatoes, and I've heard and read it's not unusual to add it either. So let's put some sweet potatoes, some regular yellow potatoes or Yukon Gold potatoes, and just mix it all up, coat it with the spices, and then once that's well coated, add in your tomatoes. This is just a can of San Marzano style tomatoes, my favorite kind because they're just so sweet. You can add more or less tomatoes, it's all up to you. And then that's gonna help kind of deglaze the pan, and as that's happening you can add in your red wine. Now the red wine, the tomatoes, and just everything else that we added before that, that's gonna come together really well as this gravy that we just created comes up to a simmer. And don't forget to add some of your broth in there as well. That's gonna help bring it to that perfect consistency for us to really cook this down. I'm also gonna add in my bay leaf and a bit of allspice just to round up some of the flavors, bring it all together. And once it has come up to a simmer, you wanna tone that heat really low. Let that simmer continue as you cover it and you let that cook for about 2 to 3 hours. The gravy should become thicker, and you can make it, the gravy should become thicker, and you could make it even more thicker by just removing the lid, letting more of the steam out. And I think that's what's kind of cool about a collab like this, where we are trying different cuisines, where a dish that I would usually not even think to make because it's not in my peripheral vision, you kind of get to explore it, and you may get to do the same thing as you check out all the other dishes for this Portuguese collaboration and discover what might be attractive to you, which you may not have even thought of. So check out all the other recipes, stay on this channel, click around and subscribe.